the likes of which we have never seen before in this country. We have never seen since the golden years. It's my goal to get our country on an automaking path where at some point in the near future it will be bigger and more important than it ever was. And even in its heyday, many years ago, it was unbelievable. I think we can be bigger and more important because we have some very, very great assets. And this is very personal for me. Personal. One of the reasons is because I've been talking about it for 20 years. I can't believe it happened. That was when I was honored. That's all I talked about. I was watching this happen. It was, at that time, Japan. Japan was just taking our cars like we were a bunch of babies. I always say candy from a baby. That's how easy it was. Now it's Japan, but it's China, and it's a lot of countries. This was one of the biggest reasons I ran for president in the first place. You know, it was probably the auto industry that was most abused. You were the most abused. There are a lot of industries that are abused. We stopped it, but now I could put the brakes on. Not only stop, I now know the game a little better. You know, I had never been a politician before. I got to the White House. I said, yeah, I've never done this before, but I had to learn, and I had some great people. Bob Lighthizer was great, our trade representative, but we had some people that I didn't like, I wouldn't have picked in retrospect. We had some clinkers, but you have to understand, I just got there. I was only in Washington 17 times, and I never stayed over. So I wasn't a part of Washington society. It wasn't my thing. I was a New York person, developer, did great. And I knew New York, but I didn't know Washington. So I had to rely on people. Sometimes I'd rely on rhinos, and that's what I'd get. I'd get a rhino, and that wasn't so good. But we had mostly great people, but we had some ones that I would not have again. And we're going to finish the job that we really brilliantly started, because we had numbers that the ambassador gave you some of them. I don't want to bore you by going through it, but he gave you some numbers that were unprecedented. I intend for the triumph of the American auto industry to be among my greatest legacies. I want it to be a legacy. I want American companies to not only dominate the American market, but also the foreign markets as well. They buy so many of our cars. It's so horrible. But you know, they only buy them if they're made in their countries. China, I don't object. Look, President Xi was, and I would say is, a very good friend. We broke up a little bit. You know the way friendships break up? A thing called the China virus broke us up. I think that's understandable, right? Cost the world about $50 trillion and tens of millions of lives all over the world. I think that's a reason. But no, I've always had a very good relationship with him. Very, very strong, smart man. He's strong and smart, meaning he wants to take your auto industry, and so does every other leader of a country. They want to take your industry, all of our industry, and we're not going to do that. We won't let them play that game, and it's not even hard, and you'll understand that in a moment. I want German car companies to become American car companies. I want them to build plants in America. Otherwise, I'd rather not have their cars here. Instead of American workers worrying about losing their jobs to foreign nations, I want foreign nations to be worried about losing their jobs to America. That's going to happen. Going to happen. Going to happen. And I hope the Democrats will go along with us, but we'll get it done one way or the other. I hope they're going to go along with us. It's so good. It's like so many things they don't, like voter ID. Why aren't they approving voter ID? Democrats don't want voter ID. You know why? Because they want to cheat. But they don't want to. I say, oh, they don't. When I first thought, I thought I was seeing things. I thought I was like, I didn't hear that when I first started this whole, that say, the Democrats will not approve voter ID. And it's only gotten worse. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just passed a bill, he signed a bill that you're not even allowed to ask anybody whether or not they have voter ID. Not only can't you use it, you can't even ask. I think it's a crime or something. I could ask the Secretary of State. No, I think it's a crime. I think it's a crime if you ask somebody, do you have ID, voter ID? Let's lock that guy up. In other words, it's not a crime to vote illegally, but it's a crime to ask whether or not. There's only one reason for that. You know the reason? Cheating. They want to cheat. It's only one reason. It's crazy. No country in the world has a policy like that. Mail-in voting is all gone all over the world. All these things that we still fight over, they're all gone. So we have to win a big election, and we're going to straighten it out. But we got to straighten it out because you have two things: you have borders and you have good elections. You got to have them, and it would be nice to have a free press, which we don't have at all. We have a terrible press. But those three things we have, and we have to straighten it out. So here is the deal that I will be offering to the world, to companies outside of our world, big companies, powerful companies that have become powerful because we were stupid. We were stupid. We allowed them to come in and raid and rape our country. That's what they did. Oh, he used the word rape. That's right. I used the word rape. They raped our country. The United States will give you the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country in the world, and it's the best. It's the best. We have the most, and we have the highest quality. We have the lowest regulatory burdens, and they were going to be made low. You know, I cut regulations more than any president in history. In a 4-year term, I cut more than any president by 4 times, they say. 4 times. I let the country do what they have to do. A lot of those regulations have been put back on by Crooked Joe and by Kamala. And it angers me so much because it's so bad. People shaking my hand backstage, sir, we had the best 4 years we've ever had, and now they're dying. They think they're going, so many people are telling me they're going out of business now. And free access to the best and biggest market on the planet. We're going to give anybody that comes in free access to the best and biggest market anywhere on the planet that's here. But we got to keep it that way, because if we keep going like this, we're not going to have the best or biggest market for long. But only if you make your products here in America. In other words, you get all of these assets, but you have to make your product here in America, and you have